Hi guys, it's Colette, and I feel like I should apologize for not getting more Valentine's Day designs done, but these accent roses are pretty quick and easy if you need a last-minute manicure. Make sure to subscribe to My Simple Little Pleasures if you'd like to see more nail art, and if you'd like to see how I did this design, just stay tuned. This is day 4 for the Smoky Hearts, and for using the peel-off base coat, it's really wearing pretty well. I only had one kind of big chip on this middle finger here. Not sure if that'll show up on camera, but that was actually 100% my fault. I really bashed my nail into the railing and it kind of chipped off, and I patched it back on there, but I'm just going to take this off before I move on to my next manicure. So there you go. Really all of them except for my left index came off pretty smoothly. See, there's just that last little bit of polish. And actually even the one that was chipped and repaired came off in just one piece. So that was kind of surprising for me, but I guess it was just a good fix. What I usually do is put down a little bit more of the peel-off base coat and then add another fresh layer of top coat, and that sealed that on for 2 additional days of wear. Starting off with clean, dry nails, I'm going to go ahead and apply my base coat. I'm using Ready for Takeoff as usual, which is a peel-off base, and you can use whichever is your personal favorite. For my base color, I'm just using a plain black, and this is Zoya Willa. What the fuck? Freaking what even the hell? Okay, that just happened. Full disclosure. I've got a little tiny hair, apparently, stuck on the brush that was making everything string out and get super, super weird. But I think I can salvage it, so I'm just going to keep going. Zoya Willa does take 2 coats to be fully opaque, and I do have a couple blacks that are 1-coaters, but I don't know, I just like using the same brand in a manicure when I can, so I don't mind doing the 2 coats. For my rose, I'm going to be using Zoya Alegra, which is a bright sparkly pink, and I'm just going to be putting a few drops of that out on a little small plastic lid. You don't want to put out too much because it'll start to dry. You don't want to put out too little because then you won't have enough to work with. And I'm going to try to keep that kind of in frame. I've also got a small nail art brush, which, as needed, I'll be cleaning off in my polish remover, which I've got off to the side. And this is fairly easy. Don't, overthink it. I'm going to start out with just a dot in the middle, and I'm just going to try and use my brush for that. You could also use a dotting tool to get started with the center. And then I'm just going to start going around the dot. And I'm trying to use a very light touch and keep things fairly steady, even though I feel like I'm a little bit shaky right now. And draw a little curve, and then give the curve kind of just a little bit of a wiggle at the top and kind of pointed at the edges. Then I'm going to go to the other side of the dot and repeat that. like I said, kind of pointed at the edges with a little bit of a wiggle at the top to make it look more like a petal. The next layer I'm going to kind of stagger so that it goes across the gap between the first two. And again, just kind of point it at the edges and give it a little wiggle a little bit wider in the middle. So I'm just going to continue that, going around until I'm happy with the shape that I have. On my right hand, I'm going to be doing basically the same thing. One thing as far as dripping out your polish, you don't necessarily want to just keep adding to the same spot. If it's that you just need more polish, you can go ahead and do that. But if it's the polish is actually getting thick and sticky, you probably just want to start a little new spot. Figure out, like I think I've mentioned before, a comfortable way to hold your brush in your non-dominant hand. May or may not be the same as with your dominant hand. And for this one, I'm just going to decide where I want the center of my flower to be. And rather than thinking about the whole entire rose and can I draw a rose left-handed, I'm just going to think about each piece as I do it. And I've already messed up a little bit there by the first curve touching the center, but that's okay. I think. We'll see. Just think about each piece as you do it. So not necessarily can I draw a rose, but can I draw this little curved line here? And just work patiently, one piece at a time. And above all, just don't be too hard on yourself. I mean, it's only nail polish. And as an accent nail, if you want, you can only have an accent on one hand even. I can confess that I was a little bit worried about this because I feel like my hands are really shaky today. But I'm just going to continue on around and see how it turns out. You want to let this set a couple minutes. You don't want your rose to still be wet when you top coat or it could smear. But you do want to add a top coat, especially with this color combination, because I think you guys are really going to like how the rose pops once I top coat it. And as usual, I'll be using Sèche Vite. And if you were super bothered by those drops of red polish on my bottle, which have been there since I think around Christmas, I finally went ahead and cleaned those off because they were kind of bothering me too every time I would notice them while I was editing. So here we'll top coat the rose, and the glitter and sparkle in Alegra really pop out. So here's the finished manicure, and I'm hoping once I get this downloaded to my computer that the roses are showing up better than they look on my little tiny camera screen. But let me just assure you that in person, the roses are very vibrant and you can really see, the design clearly, and the sparkle is really pretty. I will just quickly put a black background here and see if that helps out a little bit. I think it does, and give you guys a look at my top coated thumbs. The left thumb, I don't know, I think I maybe placed that a little bit too low. I wanted it low, but maybe not quite that low. And the right thumb is probably the messiest out of all of them, but I think is still pretty, still recognizable as a rose. So, as I mentioned earlier, you can definitely do this in whatever colors you prefer. You could go with a lighter pink base, you could make different color roses, and they're really so easy that I think I'll probably revisit this at some point also, maybe as a full manicure rather than accent nails. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Subscribe if you're not already, and be sure to turn on that notification bell. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching.